Hi, this is Michael Anthony Perugia, County Councilman for the 5th District, and I'd like to talk to you about an issue that has brought our schools into the news lately. The Arundel County Public Schools have instructed teachers and faculty to let transgender students bunk with other students of the gender with which they identify, and not tell parents that this is going on. In a widely shared video of a June 2016 meeting titled Supporting Transgender Students in School, Bob Mosier, Chief Communications Officer for the schools, told teachers and administrators how to handle transgender issues at overnight school-related events. Here's what he said.
So I'm at an overnight field trip and I have a student who's biologically a male, identifies as a female, and we've worked with that student and her family, and that student wants to sleep in the dorms or whatever sleeping arrangements are with the females. They don't want to sleep in a room by themselves. They want to sleep with the rest of the females. So what do? And the answer is they sleep with the females. That's not the easy answer, it's the right answer. And in some cases it's going to cause issues because, as Lucia just said, the private information piece doesn't allow you to share that with parents of all of the other campers.
Now, the publication of Mr. Mosier's advice has caused outrage among parents, not only because boys and girls are being bunked together, but also because the schools are hiding it from the children's parents. And Anne Arundel parents are not alone in their outrage. For example, a federal judge in Texas recently blocked a presidential directive that schools, quote, must allow transgender students access to facilities consistent with their gender identity. So far, at least 11 states have sued the Obama administration over its transgender directive. Now, all this hot mess about transgender makes me wonder whether the problem is really much broader and deeper than just this transgendered thing. Let me explain. You see, what we call public schools didn't always exist in America. In fact, they were introduced around the time of the war between the states. And after the war, they became more entrenched with the passage of compulsory attendance laws. Moreover, most folks, including most teachers and administrators, assumed that public schools were introduced and developed in order to ensure that the American populace could read and write and conduct business. But according to Dr. Samuel Blumenfeld, this is a myth. In his book, Is Public Education Necessary?, he reports that the literacy rate among adult males in the 1830s and the 1840s was much higher than it is today. So from the standpoint of improving literacy, the public schools would have to get a failing grade. So why did there exist a desire for state-controlled schools? Primarily, there were two motivating factors documented by its early proponents. The first was the desire to destroy the Christian foundations of America. The second was the humanistic belief that salvation was attainable through education. In his book, A Basic History of the United States, Clarence B. Carson concluded,
"The most zealous of the school reformers were determined to use the power of the state by way of the schools to break the hold of religious tradition and to change society through the child's training."
Perhaps the best-known proponent of the public school agenda was Horace Mann. Now, contrary to the then accepted biblical teaching, Mann believed the state to be the true parent of the child, and thus it was the state, not the family, that had the primary responsibility of providing education. One of Mann's followers, Robert Dale Owen, actually formed a secret society to work toward attaining these goals. And a man named Orestes Brownson, one of the leaders of this society, later wrote about the work of that group.
The great object was to establish a system of state schools from which all religion was to be excluded, and to which all parents were to be compelled by law to send their children.
It's pretty clearly stated, huh? The purpose and mission of the public schools was to get rid of Christianity and to compel parents to give their children over to the state so that they could be trained to question, disrespect, and eventually discard their parents' values and beliefs. Furthermore, they would be trained to disrespect their Christian republic and its traditional moral culture. And all this was to be accomplished without parental interference. Remember, the state is the true parent. Now, considering this little-known background and purpose of the public schools, When we see outrages like transgendered bunking arrangements, or students receiving instruction in Islamic traditions, or when students are taught that our founding fathers were racists, or when secrets are kept from parents, or when the school year gets longer and longer, and when compulsory attendance is applied to younger and younger children, etc., perhaps we shouldn't be so surprised. You see, if public schools were designed to destroy American values among America's children, you would have to give them an A+.